Hey everybody, my name's Michael from Team Epic Reads, and on YouTube is Michael BookLion, and you're watching Disney Channel.
No.
Is that not what we're doing?
No.
And you're watching the February book haul. I wanted to start off first by talking about some of the amazing reads that I've been checking out recently, and they are right here, the first of which is Everless by Sarah Holland. So this is the first book in a new fantasy series, which is set in a world where your blood is extracted and then bound to iron and made into a coin, which is essentially currency that you can use to pay for things, or you can ingest by dropping into your drink and earn more time. So essentially, you're paying for time. And it follows this girl who goes to work for this brutal family. They don't have the best reputation, to earn time for herself. And there are just secrets and twists abound, and she doesn't know who to trust while she's there. And I didn't know who she should trust while she was there. And I was just shooketh by the ending of this book. This is a series you guys should really get into. So the theme of my last reading month must have been endings that had me totally blown away, because the next book we have here is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. And this is a murder mystery following a girl named Stevie Bell who goes to this boarding school called Ellingham Academy. And the thing about this school is that it only allows in the best and brightest students in some aspect of life, and they can go there for free. But the school's got a little bit of a dark past in that the original proprietor's wife and daughter were murdered and kidnapped, and the daughter was never found, and this was years and years ago in the past, and the only evidence they had was a note signed Truly Devious. And so Stevie goes to the school to solve this murder that even the police and FBI could not solve. And then while she's there, another person gets killed and Truly Devious might be back. And so I was flipping through the pages so quickly, wanting to know what happens next, but also wanting to so badly to know who the killer was before it was revealed. And I'm not going to say whether I did, but you should definitely check it out and find out if you did, because I was surprised and blown away. And it's also got a little map of the school, which is an awesome plus. And so now we're on to the book haul portion of the video, and the first thing we have is The Queen's Rising, out February 6th by Rebecca Ross. This is a debut fantasy novel, and I just want to point out that this cover is the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen in my life. It took my breath away. You just saw that happen right now. And this is a book set in a world where there are 5 passions for you to follow, or sort of paths for you to follow in life. There's dramatics, there's wit, there's knowledge, there's art, and there's music. And it follows this girl who's not entirely sure which path she'd follow. I personally like to think I'd follow wit, but maybe I'm the only person who finds me funny. I don't know. And in the process of trying to figure out what to do with her life, she ends up in this plot to overthrow the ruler of a neighboring kingdom. And there's magic, there's danger at every turn, there is a swoon-worthy romance. There's literally nothing else I can think of that I want in a fantasy. It's all here. And the third book we have out February 6th is When My Heart Joins the Thousand by AJ Steiger. And this just seems like it's going to be so cute and touching, and not just because of these polka dots that are on the back. This follows a girl named Alvy who is neuroatypical, and she's sort of accepted that she's not going to feel like she fits in, and she's not going to be what other people want her to be, and she just wants to be left alone until one day she meets a boy named Stanley who's chronically ill, and every time she sees him he seems to have some new break or some new bruise, and he sets out to break the vault that's encasing her heart. And on February 13th, we have the third book in the Ravenspire series, The Traitor Prince by CJ Redwine. And you do not have to have read the first 2 books to read this one, because the series is a fantasy retelling anthology. And this particular book takes on the Prince and the Pauper and the False Prince. And so it follows naturally a prince who is sent away to school for 10 years to finish his learning, and when he comes back, someone else is sitting on the throne, and that person clearly isn't him, and he is not having it, and he wants to prove that he's the true prince, and there's an imposter in his place, and to do so he has to enter into this deadly tournament and fight criminals and creatures and just the royal system and prove that he is the true heir to the throne. And it sounds epic. And then next up, we have Honor Among Thieves by Rachel Kane and Anne Aguirre, and this is a sci-fi novel where the main character is a petty criminal, and one day she gets caught and she thinks she's going to jail, but she's actually been recruited by a sentient alien spaceship to explore the outer reaches of the universe. And so jail, exploring outer space, she thinks it's a win there. And at first, things are going really well until on their journey, there are a lot of dark, ominous truths revealed, and things aren't as bright as she thought they might be. And this gives off Xenon Girl of the 21st Century vibes, and anything that reminds me of that decom, I am here for. And I'm telling you right now, your TBR shelves probably aren't ready for all of the books coming out on February 13th. Next up, we have Break Us by Jordan Brown, and this is the third and final book in the Shade Me trilogy, and it's got one of the best aesthetics of all time, and it's very fitting because the main character has synesthesia, which means she can see colors attached to objects. For example, if something looks orange, it means there's an emergency or danger there, and she uses this ability to solve crimes. And I don't know if you've ever seen this little Broadway show called Hamilton, or maybe you've heard of it, but out February 13th by L.M. Eliot is Hamilton and Peggy. Did I do that right? And this follows Hamilton's friendship with Peggy, the youngest of the Schuyler sisters, as he tries to court her older sister, Eliza. I immediately regret singing that, and it's set against the backdrop of the American Revolution. And then also out February 13th is Active Memory by Dan Wells. This is the third book in the Mirror series, and it's the final in the trilogy, and so it is the perfect time to go and binge. And it's set in this super sleek, futuristic LA. Think like Blade Runner, where everyone has these chips planted into their heads that have them connected to the internet at all times, except as much as that adds to life, it also allows for some dangerous things to happen. And I am excited to see how this concludes. It's just so sleek and sci-fi noir, and it's amazing. And I'm really digging the vibe of this next book. It's called The Tombs by Deborah Schaumburg, and it's set in 1882 Brooklyn, and it's an alternate history because it's a world where people have these supernatural abilities, and when they're found out, they're taken to a place called The Tombs, where they're experimented on. And so this girl's mother was already taken, and she's trying to lay low and not be caught, but when there's an accident and her powers are revealed, she has to hide in the darkest depths of the city in order to not be captured. And then on February 27th, we have This Tiny Perfect World by Lauren Gabaldi, and I like to refer to this book as This Tiny Perfect Wraparound Cover because look at this, it's so beautiful. And this follows a girl who grew up in a small town and has had her future planned out for her. She's perfectly content living where she's always been and known until one day she gets accepted into this prestigious acting school in the city, and she meets a boy and she sees things she's never seen before, and she's realizing that the small town life that she had planned might not exactly be enough for her. And as someone who grew up in a small town and moved to the city to pursue his dreams, I feel like I'll probably be able to relate to this a little bit. And I am so excited to be talking about this next book. It's Heart of Iron by Ashley Poston. And this is an Anastasia retelling, except set in outer space. And it follows a girl and her crew who are going to the outer reaches of the universe to save her best friend, who happens to be a glitching robot that's been with her for her whole life. And there's so much more to it than that. There's nonstop action, there's political intrigue, there are so many twists and turns. And this book is just amazing. I'm so happy for it to be out in the universe. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. So that was the February Epic Reads book haul. Thank you all so much for watching, and comment down below with your favorite reads from January and what you're most anticipating in February, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. I'm shimmying out. Oh my god, I can't stop.